Jordan Seng. He's the senior pastor of Blue Water Mission, which is a church in Honolulu, Hawaii. And he has just written it's a new book called Miracle Work, subtitled A Down-to-Earth Guide to Supernatural Ministries. Jordan, are you with us?
I'm with you, Ray. Tim, nice to hear you.
And by the way, what time is it out in are you in Hawaii right now?
Yeah, I'm in Honolulu right now. It's about 5:15 a.m. My kids are still asleep. I got up, fixed some coffee, and I'm ready to go.
Well, you sound good for 5:15 in the morning out there. Thank you for joining us. Your book here is fascinating. A couple of quick comments I want to make about it. It's called Miracle Work, a down-to-earth guide to supernatural ministries. And then it's published by a very mainstream evangelical publisher, InterVarsity Press. Tell us, what we need to know to begin to put your book and this whole idea of miracle work in the right context.
Well, the book is really about how to actually do supernatural ministries like healing, deliverances, and prophecy. These are ministries that have been a big part of the Christian church, but the fact is that pockets of Christians, different churches, have drifted away from the ministries over the years. Still, most people trust that God can certainly do miracles, but God partners with us to get things done in the world. He provides the truth, but we do the preaching. He provides the love and the mercy, but we are the ones who serve the poor. So this book is about how God partners with us in the performing of what you call supernatural feats like healings and deliverances. And it's about what we can do to grow in the supernatural power that God makes available to us.
Your very first chapter is called What Miracles Are Like. And I think that maybe some of us stumble in the whole area of definition. So when you are talking about miracles, when the Bible talks about it, how should we understand a true biblical miracle?
Well, I think miracle is just a word that means a breakthrough that God's power provides. It can be very obvious, like Jesus healing a fellow who's paralyzed, or his disciples casting a demon out of someone and changing their life on the spot. But it can also be subtle, like hearing the supernatural voice in your heart, getting guidance from the Lord in an immediate and real way during the course of your day. I think that the life of the miracles is also about being a supernatural person, by which I mean a person who doesn't conform to ordinary world culture, but who lives according to the potential that God could break through in life at any moment. And one of the things that I enjoy as a pastor and a leader in working supernatural ministries in my church is that it makes for very bold disciples. Anyone who has seen God supernaturally heal a sick person in front of them is going to have an easier time being bold when it comes to radical generosity with their money or radical ambition with their loving relationships.
What do you, the things in your book? This is Tim, by the way. Thanks for joining us, Jordan.
Nice to be here, Tim.
By the way, is your church there in Honolulu, or where is your church?
Yeah, the church is in Honolulu. It's a young church, only about 4.5 years old. We're having some interesting.
So are you looking at Waikiki Beach right now?
Alas, I am not on the beach. I live in one of the Finger Valleys on the island called Manoa Valley. It also is very beautiful.
Okay, well, I've driven around Oahu twice. That's why I'm asking. I probably went right by your house, didn't even know it.
Could be. Drop by and see us.
I tell you, I don't mean to get off subject here, but when you're talking Hawaii, it's easy to get off subject here, especially for us from the mainland. But I mean, drive over there to that North Shore and watch those surfers out there.
Yeah, when you come in the winter, the North Shore surf is awesome.
That is amazing, absolutely amazing to watch those guys and the size of those waves. I mean, anyway, I'll never do that, and so I admire those guys who can, and the ladies. I want to ask you about this. You've got a chapter in here called the Ministry of Intercession. The Ministry of Intercession. I've heard many messages, and some Christians have different explanations about what it means to practice intercessory prayer. Is that what you're talking? Where do you go with that?
Well, the ministry of intercession is a powerful preparatory ministry.
A what? Powerful what?
A powerful preparatory ministry, by which I mean, intercession is the foundation to so much that we do. But I think that people often understand what the ministry of intercession is. When you say intercession to someone, they often think of, prayer, and maybe specifically praying for others.
Intervening. You're intervening on somebody's behalf spiritually. That's basically what it. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly, but it's not just the praying part. I think intercession isn't just praying for someone. It's the spiritual position from which you pray for someone. So the Greek word for intercession literally means to interconnect or to make a connection in order to intervene for someone. And the way I understand it from Scripture is that if you sacrifice for someone, if you love someone, if you go out on a limb for someone, if you make a bond with someone, then you have more authority to pray for them. And this is illustrated, of course, in Jesus' mission on earth. He became one of us. He sacrificed for us, and now he lives to intercede for us, the Scripture says. So you bond with someone sacrificially and lovingly, and then you pray to God for that person. And I think the reason the Lord sets it up that way is because he always wants his power, his intervention, to be connected to love, to a display of love. So intercession, I think, is a ministry of both love and power.
When we're looking at or dealing with, I want to ask you something about healing. I mean, everybody. Well, there's not a listener to this program right now, Jordan, that doesn't have a loved one, a friend, somebody they know who is suffering physically, mentally, emotionally. The idea of the ministry of healing, the healing power of Jesus today, working the world today, is a wonderful thought. Many of us don't know where to begin or how even to get in touch with the healing power of Jesus. Where should we begin?
Yeah, the reason I love healing ministry is because it meets people in their need. We get to use it a lot for outreach at my church, and non-believers will show up at the church just on the off chance that the miracle stories they hear are true. It's such a kind and compassionate ministry. You're right on there. I think the mind shift that people need to have when they get into healing ministry is that when we want someone to be healed, we're not just asking God to drop a healing from heaven, right? There are things that we can do to grow in the ability to flow in the healing power that God makes available to us, so that we, as God's partners, are the ones who lay on the hands or speak commands so that the healing can flow. Healing is a ministry that you can grow in, just like other ministries, just like preaching, just like teaching. And so when people ask me how to get started in healing ministry, my basic advice is, get started. Start practicing. Lay hands on as many sick people as you can find, and then do the things that Jesus teaches us we can do to grow in the flow of the supernatural power that he makes available to us. Things like, faith. Most people know that faith increases the chance of miracles happening. Well, there are other things that Jesus teaches us: obedience, consecration, the role of spiritual gifts. So we need to grow in the ministry so that when it's needed, our chances of effectiveness are higher.
What have you seen? Give us an example of what you've seen happen supernaturally at your church you're talking about. I mean, you've already talked about some of it, but I'm talking about eye-popping.
Eye-popping stuff. Well, I just mentioned a moment ago, we love to use healing evangelistically. Every so often in our church, we take a Sunday service, and we just set the entire thing aside for healing ministry. We ask everyone to invite their sick friends,
for a what? For a healing ministry?
That's right. Yeah.
You mean like the whole service is, what do you pray for sick people?
That's it. We'll make a few introductory remarks, sing a couple songs perhaps, and then we give the rest of the service over to just ministering to any sick person who shows up. Some of them are believers, some of them are not believers. We just make it known that we're available.
We are told to pray for the sick, lay hands on them, and anoint them with oil. Those kinds of. I mean, those are admonitions in the Bible, and I know some people mock that, but that is a
Mark
part
chapter
of.
16.
And you do see a lot of wackiness out there. I mean, let's be honest. You can turn on the TV
absolutely.
and turn over to one of the religious stations, and then you see all things. You're going, man, is this really of God? You know what I'm saying? But that's not. But you got to back up for a minute and say, well, that may not be, but God does heal, and He does heal supernaturally. And we are supposed to pray for the sick. So just because some people make a show out of it doesn't mean that it's not real. Go ahead.
Yeah, one thing that we do to stay authentic about that is that we're very honest about our victories when we've succeeded in healing ministry, and we're very honest about our failures as well. It did not work this time, and that takes the show out of it, if you know.
That's what I'm talking about. I think that's what a lot of Christians are embarrassed by when you see a sacred service turned into a circus. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We all know what we're talking about here.
We try to stay as far away from that as we can possibly be. A lot of that is tone. But you don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. You don't want to avoid a very vital ministry because some people are unhelpful.
Have you ever seen anybody healed instantaneously?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
And we've seen non-believers healed instantaneously in our service. There was a guy who walked in during the political season here on the island with.
Hey, we're out of. Hey, Jordan, can you hang on for a couple more minutes? You need to tell this story before we have our next guest on, and I didn't want to rush you off because I want to give your book. So can you hold on another couple of minutes?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's 5:30 in the morning. What else are you going to do over there, right?
That's right.
Except maybe go for a walk on the beach or something like that. We'll be back after this break. Jordan Seng, Seng, joining us from Hawaii.